Okay, so we've taken you, our audiences, through all of the numbers, the change that Swachh Bharat has brought about in the last few years. But now it's time to meet an inspiring story. That's always where the excitement comes in. One Indian who's decided to make a change, their entire journey. We have with us Pradeep Sangwan this morning. He's the founder and the promoter of Healing Himalayas Foundation. The foundation itself has taken over the, some would say, onerous task of cleaning out all of the trash from the very, very picturesque Himalayas. And I just want to tell our audiences, Pradeep, you've been talked about on Mann Ki Baat a few times. You actually talked about how that was a turning point for you. And we'll ask you all of that in a few minutes. But first, let's just ask you about your journey. So, Pradeep, if you could just tell our audiences, this is something you've talked about in the past too. I believe it was back in 2009, you came across the shepherding community while you were out, while you were traveling, and you saw how they take care of their community. And that's, I think, and you can correct me, that's where the light bulb went off in your head, where you were like, okay, we need to do more to take care of our planet and of our Himalayas. Tell us the story.
I think, the biggest learning comes from the most simplest things of, what we see, what we observe around us. And that's what I did. Initially, I didn't realize that this is such a big learning and how to, take it forward, how to implement it. But then it was there somewhere in the, back of my mind. So eventually it took shape. So I started following these beautiful community called shepherds, and they travel across, they live in the most difficult terrains of the world, Himalayas, and yet they are very sustainable in their approach. And at the same time, people coming from the urban spaces, they have, disconnected from the natural world. And they don't know how to treat the mountains, and they don't appreciate it. So again, because they don't belong from that area, and also because they are disconnected. So why not connect both the communities together and create something which is holistic in the approach and which is more careful, So that's where traveling for a purpose came into the limelight, and that's how it all started. It was a very nervous start, honestly, but again, once we do the cleaning drive, the confidence built up, and I've seen the volunteers, first half an hour, in the initial years, people were a bit hesitant, reluctant to sort of clean it up, but then eventually in the process of half an hour, everybody is, I can see the pride coming up on their faces.
All right.
Right. Pradeep, congratulations on the lovely work you're doing along with everyone who's there on the team over there. But, help us understand this. You've been running this for about 6 years now. Is there some sort of a progress report that you can share with us? Have things changed in these past 6 years?
So it's been 8 years now. We are into our 9th year. And when we started, it was mainly organizing cleaning drives, motivating people, highlighting the issue. But when we started cleaning up, and there was no place to, dispose of our waste properly. So there was no scientific way to dispose it off. Eventually, I realized we need to build infrastructure around cleaning drives also. We need to set up those facilities. For example, in every village, in every community, we have a, school, primary healthcare center, or a temple maybe. But what we don't have is a waste management ecosystem. And these are the most sensitive ecosystems that we are talking about. And the footfall is quite heavy. For example, we talk about Chitkul, the last village of Indian border towards China. So it witnesses about 5 to 6 lakhs tourists. In Khirganga, again, it's a beautiful trek, but it again attracts about 5 to 6 lakhs of trekkers. And there's no waste management ecosystem. So from cleaning drives, we started setting up those infrastructures, and wherein now we collect about 5 to 6 tons of non-biodegradable waste on a daily basis, because we have decentralized the waste collection system in all the remote regions wherein the tourism footfall is quite substantial. And that's what we have introduced. Now people can see this, replicate this model, and we are ready to train people. We have invited multiple community leaders, the bureaucrats and different companies, that this is what we are doing in the remote part of the Himalayas. And this is what we have achieved, from a very nervous individual start to collecting 5 to 7 tons of solid waste on a daily basis. I don't want to collect that kind of waste. I don't want that kind of waste to be generated and left behind or littered around. But it is what it is, and we are doing our best to sort of clear that out from that pristine Himalayan ecosystem, and we make it circular in nature rather than being linear. And we collect, segregate, compress, transport, and recycle. This is what we are trying to do and achieve, and I think in 9 years we've come a long way.
Pradeep, tell us, most of the audiences that are watching us right now, they've either already gone to the Himalayas, they possibly will go to the Himalayas in the next few years. So I just want to ask you, tell us about the kind of visitor that the average Indian is. So I know that there are two different reasons they're going there. Either there's a pilgrimage, as you said earlier, or hikes. What kind of visitors are we? What's the most common trash we're leaving? Have we grown in the last few years? Have you seen a change come about in the way we treat our natural habitat? Tell us all of that.
I think everybody is in love with plastics, all sort of plastics. So we find a lot of multi-layered packaging plastics, plastic bottles. It's so easy, I guess, because that's why everybody is so hooked to it. It's so easy, so convenient, and everybody can carry it wherever they want. Light, very light, you know. So, but I think what we need to change is, but first let's talk about the kind of people that are coming in. There are two types, as you said, trek routes and also the pilgrimages. And pilgrimages are open for a very short period of time in the monsoon time. And again, this year we did a beautiful campaign for 21 days. There were about 150 volunteers who stationed at different locations. And we just 3 days back we collected about roughly 9 tons of solid waste, majorly plastics, MLP, and then
Wow.
partially, so from the altitude of 4,000 meters. Easier said than done, because, while we are talking, it sounds very easy, but implementing such things at that altitude in such difficult terrain, it's very difficult. So, and we were prepared for almost 5 to 6 lakh, again, pilgrims, but on the very first day we witnessed about 80 to 90,000 pilgrims coming in. So everything tossed out. So whatever the however we have prepared, we were not actually prepared. But anyways, we did our best, and every year we keep on learning from it, and we try and implement. So yes, pilgrimages see a different kind of trekkers, and on the trek routes we see a lot of people, youngsters from corporate sector. People come and relieve their stress, but they leave a lot of stress in terms of solid waste behind, and that needs to be handled. And there are ways we can sort of implement in our lifestyle so that we can become a better traveler, and who can be the better example than the shepherd community.
Yeah. We'll have to leave it there, Pradeep, but thank you so much for joining us. And I like how you said the real pilgrimage actually, or the real trek, would be to actually go and keep that environment and that sensitive ecosystem clean. That could be one purpose of people actually going there. And that's the message we want people to take away from this conversation as well. But that's not the only bit. Like we told you in the morning as well, right at the beginning of the program, that the entire episode today will be focused on cleanliness. And recently,